Hey everyone, my name is Daniel, and you are watching the first episode of what I'm calling my $1,000,000 journey. And now, let me give you a little bit of background about what this is and where it came from. Kind of the inspiration behind this project of mine comes from the story of Jenny from the podcast 8 Minute Millionaire. If it's Justin and Tara Williams that put together that podcast. It's a really great podcast, and I am admittedly super behind. I'm coming at this super late. But Jenny is Justin's little sister, whom he has been helping to essentially course correct her life and try and achieve some larger goals than she had previously set for herself. And it's been super inspiring to listen to her fight against her habits. I don't want to say her nature, but really just her habits, the things that she has built her life around doing and not doing. And frankly, I've found a lot of myself in her story. So maybe a little bit of background. I am 34 years old. I'm going to be 35 this month. I have 4 kids. The oldest shares my birthday and is turning 10 this year, and the youngest turned 4 a few months ago. And so they're pretty close together, and they're all pretty young. I am still married. Thank goodness. That's been such a great blessing in my life, and my wife Susie has helped me through so many of my personal limitations, and just continuously is a support and a guide for me through things that I just frankly don't know how to deal with. And I'm sure I'll get into more of that as these videos progress. But I graduated from Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah in 2008. It was a December graduation, and I started my career in 2009 doing web development for a large company with a lot of other developers. I went remote, so I actually work from home in another state from where my company operates from. And I went remote about 4.5 years later, for a little over 4 years later, and I've been that way for another 6 years. So I've been working from home, from a home office, for 6 years, and it's been a great experience. It provides me a lot of freedom and flexibility. It saves me a tremendous amount of time in commutes, which ultimately gives me a lot more flexibility and freedom to do projects of my own and things that interest me on my own. As I mentioned, I do web development, so I build websites for this company. I do it with teams of other developers, and so I'm not building these things typically on my own, but with the help of other developers. But I do have experience leading those teams from a technical perspective and working with clients, or kind of how we're organized, and helping to deliver their requirements. So I have leadership experience, and I have also experience interacting with customers. What else might be valuable to say? I have done a lot of different projects. I've started a lot of different businesses, most of which have been profitable, but most have only served to kind of teach me some lessons, and then I've moved on, which ultimately is one of the big challenges for this project. And I'll get more into the details of what the project is here shortly. But one of the big challenges is my natural inclination to be distracted and kind of jump from one thing to the next, and kind of I love the excitement of something new, and I dive into things just head first, 100% in. And I find that those early stages of learning something new and experiencing something new super exciting. But I do get bored quickly. And I also get discouraged. And then when the biggest challenge is I've found, and my wife has kind of pointed this out, that when I get to a difficult part of a project, something that challenges specifically my need to interact with other people, to depend on other people, to start engaging others in my project, then what happens is I use justifications, excuses, and I'm only just now becoming aware of this, and so I'm going to be diving more into this as well as these updates continue. Hold on, can you come back in just a little bit, baby girl? Here's my daughter. This is part of the challenge. Hey, give me a minute, okay?
But why?
Because I'm doing a video. Can you come back in just a minute? I'll come out and find you when I get done, okay? All right. Okay, so I use my ability to make excuses. Basically what I'm trying to say is that I come up with excuses and I believe those excuses. And and then I give up on things. I move on to the next thing. I decide that my idea isn't viable, or that I'm just tired of it, and so I move on before I really get to the meat of what I'm trying to accomplish. I was just re-listening to this morning the book The Miracle Morning. Great book, highly recommended. I go through cycles of doing well with my Miracle Morning and then doing really poorly. I'm back on a cycle of doing kind of poorly with it, but tomorrow morning that will change. Well, I was listening to him talk about when he first gets out and he's doing sales, I think for Cutco, and he realizing that while he's given a lot of effort to that business, he's never given it really 100% of his effort. And I related to that as I was thinking about it this morning, that I've put a lot of effort into the businesses that I've created, but I've never given them 100% of myself. I have maybe for a little while, but I've never gone all the way. I've never jumped wholeheartedly in and seen where I can get myself. And so I've decided to do that with this project and with the business that I'm currently working on, which is an eBay business, a resale business. Again, more details on that to come, but it's important to me that this be an opportunity for me to shift my habits and to create new habits that will drive me towards even greater success in my life. Now, the last thing that I do want to mention is that I do have a great job. It pays very well, and I have been super, super blessed in that job. And so while I do have goals outside of that job is going to provide a baseline income for this project. So now, what is the project? Again, it's my $1 million journey. The idea here is I want to take myself to $1 million net worth in 5 years. Now, for some of you that may seem really optimistic. I'm pretty much everybody that is around me, I think, will find that optimistic. From what I've seen of other people, I'm sure there's a lot of you that will find this, that will think that may even be like a negative, pessimistic kind of perspective on what I could accomplish. And really, I think maybe I could come at that more quickly. But I've also made the mistake in the past of being overly optimistic and setting my goals too short. And I would love to beat my goal, but I would hate to not achieve it and then to have to reset it for another future time. I've done that too many times and I'm tired of doing it. And so 5 years to have $1 million net worth. A large part of that is going to be my work, but I'm also supporting my wife's new business as a real estate agent. And so some of that, probably I believe a lot, will come from her business as well. And then the molding of our businesses together as time goes on as well. So that's my project. I hope you'll check in and see how we're doing. I'm gonna have videos on Facebook, on YouTube, and ultimately I will have a blog as well, and maybe I'll get into Instagram and some others. As I get into this, I have a list of milestones that I've already made, and that I'm going to be continuing to add to, because I don't have everything sorted out from here until day 100 when I become when I become a millionaire. But I do know that there are a few things that I need to do to get started. Much like Jenny, I want to commit to an early morning, getting up early in the morning, doing my miracle morning. I also have already committed to physical health, better physical health and fitness as well. Now, I am registered for a marathon. I have been registered since the beginning of the year for a marathon on June 1st. It's the Utah Valley Marathon. It's a downhill marathon. It's beautiful. It runs through Provo Canyon. If you've never been there, it's an amazing place to be. I'm super excited about it. I'm also very scared. I've gone through cycles, and now I could hike and run kind of in a mix, somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 3.5, 4 miles an hour. Again, uphill and downhill in the mountains. I could do that probably just cold, total of 10 to 12, 13 miles. I don't know if I can go 26 miles in one go and in under 6 hours. That will be something very new for me. And so I have a lot of training. Excuse me. I have a lot of training to do for that. So steps number 1 and 2 are dedicate myself to and be successful at doing my miracle morning, and then to focus on my health and fitness. I believe that in doing those 2 things, I will see awesome results, and ultimately they will lead me to have greater confidence in doing the next steps and improving my life. Anyways, thank you. I hope you'll check back in. Please comment on this video and give me any advice or questions you've got. I'd love to interact with you all through any of the locations that I'm posting these videos. Thanks. Good luck to you and your projects. I'd love to hear about them too. Take care.